Part 41. Fantasy, I Robbed Millions of Saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 405. Qin Changsheng felt the power of the rules of the 5 avenues being unleashed in the competition arena. These were the 5 avenues, the strongest of which was the Golden Path. With this avenue, Wang Ruok had reached the realm of a 3rd-level authentic saint. The way of gold is sharp and can kill evil spirits. The weakest is the way of wood, which is only at the level of a 6th-level humane saint. The 5 avenues are either strong or weak, but Wang Ruok has not yet realized that the 5 elements are mutually reinforcing and interfering with each other. Therefore, these 5 avenues have extremely obvious differences and do not feel integrated. After Wang Ruok took action, Wang Ruokyo also took action. Wang Ruokyo realized that it was also the 5 elements. Wang Ruokyo is different from Wang Ruok. Wang Ruokyo is better at the way of wood and the way of water, but has not yet reached the realm of an authentic saint. However, as a talent preparation, the progress of the 5 avenues is relatively even, and the strength is not weak. Wang Ruokyo and Wang Ruok are brothers and sisters. When they work together, the power they can unleash is terrifying. Qin Changsheng smiled even more happily. If Wang Ruokyo becomes his little slave girl, then Qin Changsheng can understand the 5 elements. At that time, Qin Changsheng will have the hope to understand the 5 elements avenue, one of the 3,000 avenues in the future. Wang Ruokyo's 5 paths and Wang Ruok, these 2 people can actually work together perfectly. Is this too strong? 5 ways, Wang Ruok's golden way has actually reached the realm of a 3rd-level authentic saint. With these 2 people working together, they can definitely defeat Qin Changsheng in 5 ways. Although Qin Changsheng's way of fire has reached the 3rd level and his way of sword has reached the 5th level, these 5 ways of the Wang family also have corresponding combat skills, and when used, they are extremely powerful. Not only the understanding of the Dao, but the power of the rules of the Dao filled the competition field. The 2 also activated the power of their own constitutions and the power of blood. Wang Ruok is an acquired 5-element divine body. Because the 5 elements are deficient, he later tried his best. The only way to make up for it is to use heavenly materials and earthly treasures to become an acquired 5-element divine body. And Wang Ruokyo is a real innate 5-element divine body, and the most suitable one is the 5-element way. The 5-element way releases its own power in the competition field, and this golden the Tao is indeed extremely sharp. Although it is not like the Tao of swords, it is indeed very fast and can cut through everything. If Qin Changsheng is not careful, he will be killed directly by the Tao of gold. In addition to the Tao of gold, the Tao of Earth Dao also showed his effect for the first time and could exert his power to restrict and control Qin Changsheng. He even wanted to assimilate Qin Changsheng and assimilate Qin Changsheng into the earth energy. Seeing the cooperation between the 2, the audience also knew that Qin Changsheng was really difficult. However, Qin Changsheng was not afraid in the face of danger, and the rules of the Great Road formed a sword of rules in his hand. Although it has no entity, it is still tangible and can unfold everything. Attack after attack came towards Qin Changsheng, and Qin Changsheng burst out with sword intent. Some attacks were blocked by sword intent alone. The sword of rules was formed, flying in the air, exuding sword energy and combining with the power of the rules of the sword, directly resisting the opponent's attacks. However, Wang Ruok and Wang Ruokyo's real attacks have not yet arrived. The 2 of them used the 5 elements technique, which directly turned into palm power, one for each person. The palms of these 2 people were slapped from the left and right, intending to directly beat Qin Changsheng into meat patties. Both of the 5 elements techniques were unstable. Are all lacking, but when the 2 of them use it together and cooperate with each other, they can actually exert stronger power. 5 elements divine palm. Both of them used the 5 elements divine palm, one on the left and the other on the right, to attack Qin Changsheng. The power of Qin Changsheng's physique appeared, including the way of sword, the way of fire, the way of strength, the way of destruction and the way of killing. After exerting it, although there are still Qin Dao and Sword Dao that have not been displayed, Qin Changshen's strength has reached a peak. Wang Ruok can naturally feel Qin Changshen's power. This Sword Dao is indeed a 5th level sword. The Tao is supplemented by the 3rd level Tao of fire, the 1st level Tao of killing and destruction, and the weakest Tao of power. This is also the power of the rules of the 5 Tao. Let's talk about the power of each Tao alone. In terms of the power of rules, Qin Changshen is generally stronger than the two of them. However, the two people basically fight independently in terms of the 5 elements, with little cooperation. The combat skill is called 5 Elements Divine Palm, but their understanding of the 5 elements is still the same. Too little. Therefore, this is basically a collection of 5 Tao powers, not a fusion evolution, and no qualitative leap. In contrast, Qin Changshen's 5 Tao have masters and secondary ones. When combined, actually stronger. The ancient sword technique, the Tiangang Earthly Evil Sword. Qin Changshen's attacks are mainly based on the way of the sword. The other ways are used to enhance the power of the way of the sword. The 5 elements of Divine Palm have their own functions and are independent of each other. It is just that the 5 ways are used together. Qin Changshen slashed his sword across, and the 5 elements Divine Palms of the two men were all broken apart. The 5 elements Divine Palm, you have not yet understood that the 5 elements are mutually reinforcing and interfering. They are just 5 unrelated ways, and they may even conflict. The flaws are too great, and it cannot display its true power at all. Wang Ruok was stunned when he heard Qin Changshen's words. The 5 elements are mutually reinforcing and restraining each other. What is this? I seem to have heard somewhere about how they can be mutually reinforcing and how they can be incompatible with each other. Wang Ruok seemed to be possessed by a demon. Qin Changshen did not expect that Wang Ruok would suddenly become confused during the battle. However, isn't the principle of the 5 elements mutually reinforcing each other very simple? Doesn't Wang Ruok know this? Wang Ruok looked at him with a very obsessed look. Qin Changshen, what exactly is the mutual support and mutual restraint of the 5 elements? The combat skills and some related secrets and insights left by my ancestors of the Wang family have become much incomplete. It took tens of thousands of years for our 2 5 elements divine bodies to emerge. Wang Ruokyo had no choice but to ask Mr. Qin for advice. Ruokyo is willing to be a slave. Qin Changshen didn't expect that the scene would suddenly appear. In this case, let's give some pointers. They are all human races anyway. Qin Changshen said it simply, but to truly understand it, it still takes time and he needs to understand the 5 elements. Only those who can truly understand. The mutual generation and restraint of the 5 elements is very simple. The mutual generation of the 5 elements means that metal generates water, water generates wood, wood generates fire, fire generates earth, and earth generates metal. The mutual restraint of the 5 elements means that metal overcomes wood, wood overcomes earth, earth restrains water, water restrains fire, and fire restrains metal. Of course, there is more to it, and I will explain it to you when I have time. Wang Ruok seemed to have some understanding and kept mumbling to himself, the 5 elements are mutually reinforcing and the 5 elements are mutually restrained. The power of the rules of the 5 paths is displayed in front of his eyes, as if Wang Ruok intentionally manipulated it, but also seemed to be an unintentional derivation. The 5 elements are mutually reinforcing and the 5 elements are mutually restrained. Wang Ruok seems to have seen a little light. This undoubtedly opened a door for Wang Ruok. The door to the true avenue. Not only did Wang Ruok understand something, but Wang Ruokyo also understood a lot. Wang Ruok's eyes suddenly regained clarity. Thank you, Mr. Qin, for your guidance. I will go back to enlightenment now. Wang Ruok said that he was going to go back to seclusion. He didn't even care about the victory or defeat, and he didn't care about Wang Ruoqiu either. Hey, hey, don't worry, is your sister still here? Not finished yet. Wang Ruoq immediately waved his hand. No more competition, no more competition. Mr. Qin, you have won. Mr. Qin, please be kind to Ruoguo. Ruoguo is the best choice to stay with Mr. Qin. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 406. Qin Changsheng also didn't expect that Wang Ruoq would push Wang Ruoqiu to Qin Changsheng so directly, and he would be ready to go back to enlightenment. Don't be so anxious. The five elements are mutually reinforcing each other, but they are relatively simple. I also know some more things. After the martial arts challenge is over, I can exchange some information if I have the opportunity. Wang Ruoq was ecstatic and said, okay, let's wait until Mr. Qin competes in the martial arts challenge, and then we can communicate again. Wang Ruoqiu looked at Qin Changsheng, knowing what Qin Changsheng had said before. Wang Ruoqiu was very shy. Mr. Qin, I am willing. Regardless of whether Qin Changsheng likes it or not, what should be plundered will still be plundered. Don't worry, I, Qin Changsheng, am very good to my little slave girl. Next, you just need to go through the process. Process, what process? Just when Wang Ruoqiu was very confused, Qin Changsheng had already come to Wang Ruoqiu and took Wang Ruoqiu directly into the Linglong immortal world. Wang Ruoqiu appeared in the Linglong immortal world and looked at everything in front of him. It was really shocking. It didn't look like anything else. The storage space is more like a world, boundless. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, the plunder was successful. The prodigy preparatory King Ruoqiu was successful and the rewards are being calculated. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, the human race's genius prepares Wang Ruoqiu, whose realm is the 5th level of Tongtian realm. 5th grade martial emperor, has gained 10 times, and will give back to the Holy Lord. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, Wang Ruoqiu, the genius of the human race, has the innate 5-element divine body. After gaining 10 times, he will give back to the Holy Lord. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, Wang Ruoqiu, the genius of the human race, has the bloodline of the 7th level fusion of the 5 elements emperor. After 10 times the gain, he will give back to the Holy Lord. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, Wang Ruoqiu, the genius of the human race, has realized that there are 5 paths of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. After gaining 10 times, he will give back to the Holy Lord. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Master, Wang Ruoqiu, the genius of the human race, has mastered the 9th level Imperial level combat skill 5 elements divine palm, perfection. The 9th grade Imperial level combat skill 5 elements step, perfection. The 9th grade Imperial martial skill 5 elements battle body. After 10 times the gain, give back to the Holy Lord. Finally hearing these voices, Qin Changsheng estimated that he could improve slightly again. What pleased Qin Changsheng the most was Wang Ruoqiu's 5 elements. He didn't know to what level these would be promoted. Qin Changsheng would be even happier if the 5 elements could be integrated into one Tao. When Wang Ruoqiu was still wondering, Qin Changsheng took Wang Ruoqiu out of the Linglong immortal world. Wang Ruoqiu was still a little confused. Why did he come out again? The process is over, and from today on, you are my little slave girl. Don't worry, I, Qin Changsheng, am still very good to the people around me. Now, go and rest first, and give you some time. Then you will have to stay with me. Qin Changsheng is very satisfied with this harvest. Among the Tianjiao preparations, there are only 2 women, one is Wang Ruoqiu, and the other is Zhou Chanying. Zhou Chanying's ranking is still relatively high, and it may take a while, but with this strength, she must be very strong. The host is asked to make a choice, to gain 10 times the benefits from each of the 5 avenues, or to understand it through the 5 elements avenue, one of the 3,000 avenues. Qin Changshen's eyes lit up. Need I say this? 5 elements avenue, comprehend. Qin Changsheng soon felt some changes. The original way of fire can indeed be used, but the more useful one must be the 5 elements way. The 5 elements avenue, the great 5 elements technique. Qin Changsheng was ecstatic. This was one of the first 3,000 avenues that he had comprehended. The power and strength of this 5 elements avenue was not blown away. It has improved a lot, but the realm has not been improved yet. After all, the early realm has not been reached before. Reaching consummation, it is almost complete now. Maybe I will be able to break through next time. The improvement is not small. My strength should be able to compete with the real 9th grade martial emperor. If you want to kill and kill, it is still a little difficult. Qin Changsheng gained a lot, but Wang Ruoqiu and Wang Ruok were considered failures. Qin Changsheng actually won again. This sword technique is really strong. Wang Ruok's 5 paths were indeed not well coordinated and attacked together. There were some conflicts and confrontations among them, so Qin Changsheng seized the opportunity and broke through the palm with a sword. If we don't solve this problem, we really won't be able to deal with Qin Changsheng. Yes, the simple way of gold is only the 3rd level, Qin Changsheng's way of fire is also the 3rd level, and the way of the sword is the 5th level. Qin Changsheng is definitely known as Tianjiao because of his strength. Qin Changsheng actually asked Wang Ruoqiu to be his slave girl. It was unbearable. I can't bear it. Go ahead on your own. Can you beat Qin Changsheng? There was a lot of discussion, and now, with so many people, few wanted to take action. Even Xiao Ankai and Jian Jueshan felt tremendous pressure. When the two of them faced Qin Changsheng, they felt as if they were facing Nangongs, feeling unfathomable. As for Zhou Chanying, she has chosen to give up the challenge. This still requires self-awareness. You are no match for Qin Changsheng. Even if you find a helper, you may not be able to win. Zhou Chanying still has no intention of becoming Qin Changsheng's little slave girl, so Zhou Chanying plans to give up. Anyone else up for a challenge? Jian Jueshan looked at Xiao Ankai. What, do you want to come together? Xiao Ankai refused very much. After all, Xiao Ankai already knew the strength that Qin Changsheng showed. The two of them may not be opponents if they join forces, so there must be some hesitation. Chu Tiankuang on the side couldn't sit still. You trash, if you're still undecided, don't do it. He does have some strength, but whether it is Qin Changsheng or Nangong Zi, they are both the ones I want to defeat and are my stepping stones. Xiao Ankai and Jian Jueshan are not ready to give up yet. Qin Changsheng is now much stronger and more confident. If you feel unsure, you can come together, no matter how many 3 or 5 of you, even if I ask you to fight 10, it won't be a problem. Qin Changsheng's tone was extremely arrogant. Even Chu Tiankuang felt that Qin Changsheng was a bit too arrogant. After all, Chu Tiankuang didn't even think that he could challenge 10 of them. Jian Jueshan stood up. Get up. Originally I knew I was no match for Mr. Qin, so I planned to give up. But I still want to learn Master Qin's sword skills, so I am willing to go out to fight. Is there anyone with me? Xiao Ankai also stood up. Then let me give it a try. How can I miss the opportunity? I also want to know how different he is from Mr. Qin. Zhou Chanying was still hesitating, but 2 more people stood up, both of whom were ranked higher. Lin Aobei looked at the arrogant Qin Changsheng, with endless hatred on his face. Everyone will only remember victory. If you remember Qin Changsheng, the name Lin Aobei will become a foil, and you will be unable to hold your head high in front of Qin Changsheng. To defeat him, it would be better to cripple him and let him die. Come on, you bunch of trash. In the end, Zhou Chanying stood up. This time, a total of 6 people challenged Qin Changsheng. These 6 people were all ranked in the top 10. Except for Nangongs and Chu Tiankuang, who did not take action, only the 9th among the top 10. No more moves with 10th. 6 people, not bad. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I Robbed Millions of Saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 407. Qin Changsheng fought 1 against 6. This kind of scene was rare. These 6 are all prepared by Tian Xiao. Each of these 6 people is very strong, let alone joining forces. There may be some coordination issues, but if all 6 people use the power of the rules to bombard Qin Changsheng, Qin Changsheng may not be able to withstand it. Qin Changsheng is too trusting. The 5th level swordsmanship is indeed very strong, but these are 6 people. Most of the 6 people are 1st level authentic saints, and at most 2nd level saints, which are far behind Qin Changsheng. Qin Changsheng still has hope of winning. If Qin Changsheng defeated these 6 people, it would be enough to illustrate Qin Changsheng's strength. Qin Changsheng should have reached the level of a genius, right? Maybe. Didn't I say before that Qin Changsheng faced the demon emperors of the demon race, and those demon emperors were killed by the strong men in the ancient Forbidden Land? Why do I feel like it's Qin Chang's vivid hands? It is really possible. Otherwise, why would the merit points be attributed to Qin Changsheng? They never imagined Qin Changsheng's strength improved too quickly. Qin Changsheng had mastered the 5th level swordsmanship in a battle before, and at that time he had a strength comparable to that of an 8th level demon emperor. However, the situation was critical and he had more than one opponent, so he was unable to use it. Before coming back, he also robbed Mo Kyungsun, a demon prodigy, and his strength greatly increased. Now it is constantly improving, and its strength will naturally become stronger and stronger. The 6 of them didn't dare to relax when facing Qin Changsheng. Sometimes, having a large number of people might not necessarily give them an advantage. Qin Changsheng's swordsmanship is too powerful, and the remaining power of the swordsmanship rules may affect everyone, making it difficult for everyone to display their strength. Qin Changsheng did not dare to rely on the 6 people who acted together. These 6 people were also at the forefront of the ranking of geniuses. They were also very promising to become the geniuses of the human race. Their talents, potential and own strength were both indescribable. In an instant, 6 people took action and decided to strike preemptively. The 6 people and the rules of multiple avenues appeared on the competition field, which dazzled many people. This power is too powerful and unbelievable. 6 people, this is simply too exaggerated. If it were other people, they definitely wouldn't be able to hold it. Everyone is a genius, and they are all prepared for the genius. How can it be so easy to resist the power of the Tao rules in the realm of an authentic saint? Qin Changsheng's swordsmanship is definitely extremely powerful. Qin Changsheng definitely has the strength of a genius. It is estimated that these 6 people will lose. The real showdown depends on Nangongs. I think Chu Tiankuang may be a little bit worse. Qin Changsheng's sword intention is more condensed and powerful. After every battle and every victory, Qin Changsheng can feel that he has some understanding of the sword. This time, Qin Changsheng chose to use the power of the rules of the sword. There is also the power of the 5 elements avenue to counter the combat skills of these 6 people. The ancient 5 elements sword, the 5 elements rotate. Qin Changsheng's sword contains the power of the 5 elements. The power of the 5 elements is fully demonstrated in the sword moves at this moment. The 5 elements are interdependent and rotate endlessly. They seem to be integrated and complementary to each other. Under this sword, the 5 elements are born and destroyed, and the metal is the power of wood, water, fire, and earth spurted out, but it was able to fuse to form the power of the 5 elements. Wang Ruok and Wang Ruokyo were shocked when they saw Qin Changshen's sword. At the same time, they also understood a lot. Is this the mutual growth of the five elements? It's really mysterious, the five elements are rotating and endless. My golden way is too strong, but it can form a cycle to advance the understanding of other ways. Is this the real five elements? Before, we simply used the power of the five rules together. That kind of usage was really too rough. The two people were filled with emotion. Not only these two people were emotional, but Qin Changshen was also very emotional. The Five Elements Avenue and the Great Five Elements Technique, as one of the first 3,000 avenues that Qin Changshen understood, are currently only 4 in terms of grades. Qin Changshen found it incredible that he was a human saint, but the power he could exert was incredible. Is this the real 3,000 avenues? Each avenue seems to be able to span time, erase eternity, create the world, or even destroy the world. This is the Great Five Elements technique of a 4th-level humane saint. Qin Changshen cannot even imagine if he can practice it to the strongest level. Everything in the world is in the 5 elements. With one palm, the 5 elements are annihilated and everything can be destroyed. Qin Changshen also thinking of Gu Qingqian, it was the 3,000 avenues of an authentic saint. It was scary to think about it. No wonder he was from the ancient Protoss. No wonder he was able to achieve such strength at the level of the 8th grade martial emperor. I am afraid that only the geniuses of these ancient clans can be considered powerful. He must be a true genius. Qin Changshen estimates that when he reaches the 8th grade martial emperor, he will probably not be as good as Gu Qingqian. The gap is still a bit big. Qin Changshen's sword, the power of the rules of swordsmanship, cooperates with the 5 elements. The power of birth and death was prepared by the 6 geniuses, each of whom showed their full strength. However, under this sword, under the power of the 5 elements of birth and death, many of their powers were wiped out, and they were unable to resist. Qin Changshen's sword will definitely leave a mark on the human race, and it will definitely spread throughout the world. Is this too strong? 1 against 6, one sword to defeat the enemy. How could this sword be so powerful? It obviously doesn't feel like he's at the imperial level, but can he be so strong? This is obviously a sword technique created by Qin Changshen himself. The grade of this sword technique is not very high, but it is definitely very suitable for Qin Changshen himself, so he can display such strength. I think not only that, this combat skill may be comparable to ancient combat skills. Yes, I feel that way too. I'm afraid this Qin Changshen will soon become a true genius of the human race, right? I heard that the human race's buried sword martial god came to rescue him before. This trip is definitely worth it. The human race will have another powerful martial god in the future. Yes, Qin Changshen is only a 5th-level martial emperor now, but he has already understood the swordsmanship of a 5th-level earthly saint. When he becomes a martial god in the future, he will not be able to become a heavenly saint, right? The saints of the heavenly way are just out of reach. They are legendary existences. Among hundreds of tribes, those who reach the level of the saints of the heavenly way in a certain way are definitely the strongest of each tribe. The saints of the heavenly way are comparable to the heavenly way. The supreme and powerful person who has understood the Tao to the extreme is the supreme being in the Tao, and is definitely the most powerful existence. The Tao saints are already extremely powerful, and the Tao saint level Tao in that day is naturally extremely terrifying. Qin Changshen does not dare to think so much now. The best choice is to slowly improve your strength, step by step, strive to achieve perfection, and strive to become stronger. Under this sword, the 6 people were defeated. Although they were not injured, they in front of this sword, these 6 people were actually at a disadvantage. How could they turn defeat into victory? Qin Changshen took advantage of the victory to pursue. His sword energy was flying, and one sword energy could cut down the enemy. The 6 people were quickly defeated. When one of them fails, the remaining 5 will not be able to hold on for long. Only now can Qin Changshen's strength be fully displayed and truly displayed in front of everyone. However, this is only the strength at this moment. That's all. Qin Changshen estimates that he will be promoted again soon. Qin Changshen walked in front of Zhou Chanying and said, "Now, you are also my little slave girl. It's time to go through the process." Qin Changshen also went through the process with Zhou Chanying. In addition to the improvement in strength, Qin Changshen also needs to prepare for the final decisive battle between Chu Tiankuang and Nangongs. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 408. Qin Changshen actually won against 6, which shocked everyone. Even the genius could feel Qin Changshen's strength. Chu Tiankuang and Nangongs were known as genius preparations who already had the strength of genius, but they did not complete the task of killing the 8th level demon emperor, so they did not become genius. However, judging from Qin Changshen's current performance, Qin Changshen's talent and strength appear to be somewhat stronger than those of Chu Tiankuang and Nangongs Yi. Qin Changshen's 5th level swordsmanship is so powerful that even some geniuses cannot reach it. Under normal circumstances, Tianjiao's understanding of Taoism is at the level of a 9th level human saint and a 1st level earthly saint. As for Tianjiao, he must be an authentic saint, and his 5th level strength is unique among Tianjiao. The human race's understanding of Taoism has always been considered a strong point. After all, it is slightly lacking in other aspects. In terms of blood, other alien races have always been more advantageous. Otherwise, the human race would not think of refining the blood essence of the demon race to improve the quality of the human race's bloodline. Therefore, the understanding of Taoism among these demon geniuses ranges from level 1 to level 3 and 4, with the highest being level 3 and 4, which is still a little worse than that of the human race. Qin Changshen's battle indeed consumed a lot of energy. The power of the great Dao rules was the main force, but it also required Qin Changshen to consume his own spiritual power. I have been fighting for so long with more than 10 opponents. I really need to recover. Qin Changshen wins. Jade Sword Martial God and Suyi Martial God saw Qin Changshen's performance and were filled with emotion. Qin Changshen's talent is really great. The 5th level swordsmanship is definitely very strong. Especially since Qin Changshen actually used it just now. The Tao of the 5 elements, this Tao of the 5 elements, feels stronger than the Tao of the 5 elements of Wangruok and Wangruokyo. Although it feels that the grade is not very high, it is very powerful, which makes them a little confused. I need to recover first. Chu Tiankuang's face was solemn. It was obvious that he had regarded Qin Changshen as a strong opponent in his heart. Qin Changshen originally thought that with so many opponents, it might take a lot of time, maybe a day. But this little half in just a few days, Qin Changshen had already eliminated most of his opponents. Now, only Chu Tiankuang and Nangongs Ziyi were left. If these two people fought against Qin Changshen was fully confident. An elixir. This is an emperor-level elixir. It is valuable. It is only used to restore spiritual power. Of course, you can also use divine crystals, but if you use divine crystals to recover, the speed will be much slower. The elixir is the best choice. Qin Changshen took a pill, and the effect of the pill began to take effect. Qin Changshen recovered very quickly, a quarter of an hour was enough. Qin Changshen was recovering, and these viewers were patiently waiting for Qin Changshen, waiting for the final battle. Now, so many geniuses have finished the challenge, and only Chu Tiankuang and Nangongs are left. Will Chu Tiankuang and Nangongs Ziyi be Qin Changshen's opponents? I feel that Qin Changshen's strength is still very strong. The swordsmanship of the 5th level authentic saint is really extraordinary. In addition to the 5th level swordsmanship, there are other ways. The combination is too strong. The strength of Chu Tiankuang and Nangang Zi is indeed a bit different. Qin Changshen is not only recovering now, but also improving his strength. He just plundered Zhou Chaining and gained a little improvement. Qin Changshen now finally feels that he is about to break through to the 6th level martial emperor, but he only feels that he is about to break through, but he is still not there. The finishing touch. 3 saints of the 5th grade martial emperor helped Qin Changshen finally reach the perfection of the 5th grade martial emperor. On the surface, Qin Changshen was no different, he was just recovering his strength, but in fact, Qin Changshen was already extremely powerful. 3 5th grade martial emperor saints did not allow me to advance to the 6th grade martial emperor realm. Then if I want to reach the 7th level, I may need more than 3 6th level martial emperor saints. Qin Changshen has finally recovered, and his strength improvement has been completed. It's time to face the next 2 opponents. Qin Changshen finally recovered, it's a pity that he hasn't broken through to the 6th level martial emperor yet, he's just a little short of it. Qin Changshen's strength has improved again, and he is only a little short of being a 6th grade martial emperor. This speed of improvement makes both the 2 great martial gods feel that it is a bit exaggerated. Is Qin Changshen already close to a 6th grade martial emperor? His Taoist understanding is beyond ordinary people. The foundation of the realm seems to be very stable, and the strength is so strong. It is not like someone who neglected the foundation in order to improve the realm. Holy Master, Qin Changshen. Age, 20. Physique, innate ancient divine body, perfect innate 5 elements divine body. Emperor Dao Yu pupil, enhanced version of 1000 charming demonic eyes, Emperor Yun Yuxuan bone, innate demonic emperor's heart. Bloodline, thin bloodline of the 5 elements dragon king. 8th level. 3000 great Dao, great 5 elements technique, 4th level humane saint. The art of light, the 3rd level of the human saint. The Tao of the authentic saint, the way of the piano, the 2nd level. The way of the sword, the 5th level. The way of the formation, the 3rd level. The way of destruction, the 1st level. The way of killing, the 1st level. Human saint level Taoism, the Tao of time, 8th level. The Tao of power, the 4th level. The Tao of dance, the 3rd level. Cultivation realm, 5th level martial emperor. Skills, imperial level 9th level alchemy. Imperial level 9th level formation method technique. Combat skills, the 9th level imperial level combat skill ancient 5 elements battle body, perfect. The 9th level imperial level combat skill ancient 5 elements sword technique, perfect. The 9th level imperial level combat skill twilight drum and morning bell, perfect. The 9th grade imperial combat skill grade 5 elements palm. Qin Changshen's strength has improved a lot, and the original way of fire has been integrated into the grade 5 elements technique, one of the 3000 avenues. And Zhou Chaining's way of light has become now he has mastered the great light technique. Qin Changshen has realized that there are 2 kinds of 3000 avenues, which is what Qin Changshen is most looking forward to. With these improvements, Qin Changshen will definitely be more relaxed when facing Chu Tiankuang and Nangang Zi. I'm recovering. Chu Tiankuang couldn't sit still anymore, and immediately got off the field. Facing Qin Changshen, he showed that he couldn't wait to. Finally recovered, Chu Tiankuang's strength is indeed good, but I feel Qin Changshen is stronger. Qin Changshen's strength really surprised me. Chu Tiankuang may not be Qin Changshen's opponent. Only Nangangs can fight. Qin Changshen and Nangangs definitely have the strength of the geniuses. I guess Qin Changshen may become the geniuses, and Nangangs will probably have to wait some more time. While Chu Tiankuang was waiting, he kept hearing people analyzing the strength among Chu Tiankuang, Qin Changshen, and Nangang Zi. In any case, Chu Tiankuang was the worst one and was the one who was eliminated. To the strongest candidate. Chu Tiankuang wanted to prove himself very much. Whether it was Qin Changsheng or Nangongzi, they were just stepping stones for him. Qin Changsheng, I will defeat you. And Nangongs will also be defeated by me. Chu Tiankuang's words were almost the same as before, and he was still as arrogant as ever. But at this moment, after watching Qin Changsheng's battle again, Chu Tiankuang felt a little more serious in his heart. Qin Changsheng also said what was in his heart, I hope you can let me use my full strength. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 409. The battle between Qin Changsheng and Chu Tiankuang began. Chu Tiankuang directly exploded with all his strength, physique, bloodline, and Taoist rules. Chu Tiankuang did not intend to stop at all. Chu Tiankuang's purpose was simple, to unleash all his strength and crush Qin Changsheng. Of course, Chu Tiankuang also knew that if he didn't use all his strength, he might not be able to deal with Qin Changsheng at all. A mad lion appeared behind Chu Tiankuang. This was the bloodline of a mad lion, and its bloodline level was the bloodline of a 9th level emperor. The Tao that Chu Tiankuang understood was the Tao of anger, the Tao of madness, and the Tao of strength. When the names of these three Tao appeared, Qin Changsheng was a little speechless. How could there be such a Tao? However, the system also gave a reminder that joy, anger, worry, sadness and fear, the 7 emotions and 6 desires are all Tao. This is just a branch of the Great Red Dust technique, one of the 3,000 avenues. After Qin Changsheng learned this, he no longer thought about it. He had seen the demon clan before, including the angry demon clan. Now that the human race can understand these powers, this way is normal. Chu Tiankuang was like a mad lion, flying towards Qin Changsheng, holding him big power. This rage struck Qin Changsheng, and anyone who was not determined enough would probably be directly frightened. These two ways are indeed very suitable for Chu Tiankuang. Chu Tiankuang's punch really has a certain strength. Chu Tiankuang's strength has become stronger. Is this the way of anger and the way of madness? It feels like there is really an unparalleled fury. The way of madness and the way of wrath, as unconventional ways, can actually exert such strength. It is really incredible. The most important thing is that there is still a way to power, and this power should not be underestimated. This Chu Tiankuang is not as good as King Li Sheng in the way of strength, but he is stronger when he uses the way of strength in addition. Chu Tiankuang's punch was so powerful that Qin Changsheng was not to be outdone. He displayed his sword skills, moving forward indomitably, and his sword intention was invincible. Whether he was crazy or angry, the sword intention of Qin Changsheng's sword broke through all things, Qin Changsheng's will against the furious intention. The sword intention is obviously stronger. The furious intention was completely chopped, and the power of this punch was also weakened a lot. However, Qin Changsheng's sword intention is now it was not possible to cut off the emotion. It only temporarily dissipated the rage and the power of the rules, but it quickly gathered again, and the rage was stronger, the power of the rules was more powerful, and the power increased again. This punch and Qin Changsheng confronted. Destroy it. My sword can cut through everything. In the future, it will definitely cut off lust and cause and effect. It's just a matter of rage, I will make you unable to rage. Qin Changsheng's sword intention was stronger and sharper, and his rage was driven away by the sword intention again. Qin Changsheng's sword directly knocked out the phantom of the mad lion behind Chu Tiankuang, and the phantom of the ancient dragon and elephant. I couldn't stand it any longer. Qin Changsheng's sword intention was even more powerful, and he cut down Chu Tianjiao's 3rd level of madness and 1st level of anger, but in front of the sword and Qin Changsheng's sword intention, they seemed a bit weak. Qin Chu Tiankuang was already half defeated by Changsheng's sword. After all, Qin Changsheng's strength was still crushing him. Qin Changsheng had already demonstrated his own strength, and the power of the rules of the power of destruction directly suppressed the so-called fury. The meaning of the sword is only to dispel the furious intention, but the power of the rules of the way of destruction is to destroy everything. The power of the rules of the way of madness and the way of anger were swallowed up and destroyed by the power of the rules of the way of destruction. Qin Changsheng already had a huge advantage, but Chu Tiankuang was naturally unwilling to give in. He became even more manic and angry, and his burst of strength became even more powerful. He kept punching, one punch after another, each punch was a combat skill, and each punch carried with huge power. In a short period of time, dozens of punches were fired in an instant. These powers gathered together and bombarded Qin Changsheng. Boom boom boom. Punch after punch hit Qin Changsheng's face, but Qin Changsheng used the way of the sword, sword light, and fist shadows were fighting in the air, but these fist shadows were still directly chopped apart by the sword energy. Chu Tiankuang was still unwilling to give in. The furious thoughts that were chopped apart and dispersed actually turned into the last one. Fist, this is a punch falling from the sky. When Qin Changsheng saw this punch falling from the sky, he felt a little more serious in his heart. The sword energy soared to the sky, as if a long sword was unsheathed, and he drew the sword to cut the sky. A punch fell from the sky, and Qin Changsheng was a sword to the sky. In the end, Qin Changsheng won. The fifth-level swordsmanship and the sword intent that matched it were indeed strong. Chu Tiankuang failed, and in the end there was only one person left. Qin Changsheng was far away from becoming the Tianjiao preparatory rank. 1. There is only the last opponent left. The last opponent, Nangongs, is prepared by the genius who is known as not being the genius. Nangongs has always hoped to kill a 9th-grade demon emperor and become a real genius. And Nangongs has also always hoped to kill a 9th-grade demon emperor and become a real genius. While exploring the limits of the 5th-grade martial emperor, it can be said that each realm has been trying to reach the limit before, so Nangongs' strength is still very strong. However, according to Qin Changsheng's estimation, if he wants to kill the 9th-grade demon emperor, even if it may not be possible for a 5th-grade martial emperor to reach the limit like himself. Only by understanding Taoism and reaching the level of crushing the opponent can it be possible to kill the 9th-grade demon emperor. Chu Tiankuang has already failed, although he is unwilling to do so. But there is nothing that can be done. Qin Changsheng has already given enough face. Nangongs has arrived. Nangongs comes from the Nangong family and has a very ancient inheritance. He also understands an ancient avenue, which is one of the 3,000 avenues. Origin technique. However, Nangong's current practice is not very powerful, and he is only in the realm of a second-level human saint. The Great Origin technique can open up multiple dantians, and each dantian can store spiritual power, which means that in the future, Nangongzi will not run out of spiritual power in the future. Opening up multiple dantians is just one of them. The Great Origin technique can also continuously improve his spiritual power to the power of the original source. The power of the original source is extremely pure and can even include the power of rules. In other words, Nangongs himself can exert the power of rules. Nangongs finally stood up, and was finally going to win the final battle with Qin Changsheng. One is a genius who has been famous for many years, and the other is a new genius. Many people want to know who is stronger between the two, and also want to know who is the one who becomes the real genius first. Chu Tiankuang failed and ended in despair. He originally thought that his way of madness and anger could defeat Qin Changsheng, but Qin Changsheng's sword intention was extremely powerful. With the way of sword, the power could easily cut him apart. The meaning of rage. Now, Chu Tiankuang could only watch Qin Changsheng and Nangongzi fighting. He did not leave, but wanted to see how big the gap was between himself, Qin Changsheng, and Nangongzi. Qin Changsheng, do you need to rest? No need, it doesn't consume much. Nangongs came to Qin Changsheng, I advise you to recover. My spiritual power reserves are more than you think. I know, but I am confident. Nangongs doesn't intend to continue to be polite. Since Qin Changsheng said no, let's start directly. Nangongs has changed his state and is ready to fight. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 410. Qin Changshen's burst of power was very strong, but Nangong's was not weak at all, and even burst out two powers. Qin Changshen has seen through everything. Nangong's now has two dent eons, and the spiritual power that can be contained is naturally very strong. The quality of this spiritual power is also extremely powerful. It contains the power of the original law and can become the power of the law. Qin Changshen only had spiritual power, but the power Nangong's used was directly the power of laws, which was no weaker than the power of rules of other ways. Qin Changshen used his own power to activate the power of rules and cast them together. The way of the sword appeared directly, turning Qin Changshen's power into countless sword energy and slashing directly at Nangong Zi. And Nangong Zi didn't panic, he struck out with one palm, followed by the second palm, and the third palm. Every time Nangong Zi fired out a palm, his power was accumulating and becoming stronger. Infinite stack of palms. Nangong's power is getting stronger and stronger. Qin Changshen's sword energy carries the power of destruction. Although it can destroy all Nangong's power is indeed very strong. Qin Changshen then cut through a barrier. Nangong's used a new palm, turning it into a new barrier. If consumed in this way, Nangong's, who has understood the great origin technique and has the power of law in two dent eons, is naturally stronger. Qin Changshen also knows that when facing Nangong's, we can't delay it any longer. If we continue to delay it, the power of Nangong's palm will only get stronger and stronger. It will be so strong that it can't be strengthened. It's so strong that even Qin Changshen's sword will be difficult to break. Is this the 3000 avenues? The true avenue, even if it is only the realm of a second-level human saint, is so powerful. Under normal circumstances, the Tao that is comprehended now is only a small part of the 3000 Tao. Therefore, unless one can comprehend these Tao to the extremely powerful state of an authentic saint, otherwise the 3000 Tao is still stronger. Just take the gap between the 5 Tao of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, and the great 5 elements technique is huge. The 5 Tao ways are used together, and there is no difference between them and the great 5 elements technique. Qin Changshen also felt the power of the 3000 Dao, but Qin Changshen can also master the 3000 Dao, and he understands it more than Nangong Zi. Qin Changshen also gave up the use of swordsmanship, and was not afraid of the great 5 elements technique if it was consumed. Qin Changshen restrained his swordsmanship, and what appeared instead was metal, wood, water, and fire. The 5 ways of earth and the power of rules of 5 colors filled the competition field, and Qin Changshen performed the great 5 elements technique. This is the 5 ways of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Why did Qin Changshen give up the strongest sword way and use these 5 ways instead? Could it be that Qin Changshen also understood this? Didn't he refer to using the method of excessive fire before? Qin Changshen can give guidance to Wang Ruok and Wang Ruoqiu, so he must have understood these 5 ways. Wang Ruok and Wang Ruoqiu couldn't take their eyes away. Qin Changshen actually used the great 5 elements technique again, which is the 5 elements avenue in their minds. Qin Changshen gathered the power of the 5 elements rules in his palm and turned it into a palm shot. The 5 powers filled the world. These 5 powers complement each other at this moment, colliding towards Nangong's palm. The 5 elements flow endlessly, and the power of the 5 elements rules continues to consume Nangong's power, and this palm is almost it didn't consume much. Nangong's was also surprised. After Qin Changshen's palm came out, Qin Changshen basically didn't consume much spiritual energy. On the contrary, this palm was completely natural and could continuously wear down Nangong's power. Qin Changshen's 5 elements rules the power was not consumed at all. How could this happen? Is this the 5 elements avenue? It is said that in ancient times, the 5 elements avenue was also a very powerful path, and it was indeed so. The rotation of the 5 elements is constantly consuming Nangong's power, and the 5 elements are constantly evolving. You can't see any big gaps now, but after a while, everyone will be able to feel the gap. No, if I continue like this, even if I have 3 dent eons, the power of this law will be more powerful, and it will not be enough to consume. Wang Ruok and Wang Ruoqiu gained a lot. They saw this so-called rotation of the 5 elements, and saw that the 5 elements are interdependent and interdependent. This is the real great 5 elements technique, the real 5 elements avenue, rather than the 5 elements being used together. It can become the 5 elements avenue. This is just the foundation. The 5 elements are mutually reinforcing and restraining each other, and everything in the world is basically within the 5 elements. Even when you reach the highest level, you can reverse the 5 elements, and possess the magical power of creation. This is the real 5 elements avenue. Mr. Qin's understanding of the 5 elements avenue is so profound. If you want to cultivate into the true 5 elements Dao, it is best to follow Mr. Qin. Wang Ruoqiu also blushed and responded softly. He looked at the field and couldn't turn his eyes away at all. Nangong's changed his tactics. He originally thought that he could defeat Qin Changsheng at a loss, or at least make Qin Changsheng feel the difference. However, the final result was that Qin Changsheng had the upper hand. If he continued to consume, he would lose. Therefore, Nangong's changed his tactics and chose to take the initiative. With a large amount of law power, Nangong's was confident that he could smash everything. The boundless palm of the sea. Nangong slapped several palms in an instant, which were similar to Chu Tianquang's moves, but very different. Nangong's was better at suppressing opponents with the quality and quantity of spiritual power. This was basically an upright crushing, powerful crush everything. The combined power of this palm and one palm can already exceed the power of an 8th grade martial emperor. If there is an 8th grade martial emperor below, he may not be able to support it. However, at this moment, under this palm, it was Qin Changsheng, not an ordinary 8th grade martial emperor. Qin Changsheng performed the great 5 elements technique, and the power of the 5 elements rules turned into a formation diagram, constantly rotating in the air, resisting Nangong's palm power. But the power of this palm is becoming more and more powerful, and the size of this palm is also getting larger and larger. Now it has enveloped 1/5 of the competition field. However, Qin Changsheng did not panic, and the formation Golden Lotus appeared. Qin Changsheng plans to use the power of the 5 elements rules and the way of formation to set up a 5 elements life and death formation. Once the 5 elements life and death formation is formed, it will consume the opponent's strength and replenish his own strength faster. In other words, Nangong Zi can continuously exert force, and Qin Changsheng can absorb and transform the opponent's power into the power of the 5 elements rules to maintain the formation. The way of formation, this way of formation is actually in the realm of an authentic saint, isn't it too strong? With the 5 elements avenue and the way of formation, facing Nangong Zi's palm, there is really no pressure at all. No matter how strong the power of the law is and how much power Nangong's has, he can't bear such consumption, can he? Nangong's strength is definitely very strong. Even the 8th grade martial emperor may not be able to sustain this palm. But the opponent is Qin Changsheng, and Qin Changsheng actually has such a trump card. It seems that Tianjiao Preparatory Ranking No. 1 is going to change its name. Yes, Qin Changsheng's strength is unexpected. Nangong Zi also didn't expect that his palm would be blocked. Since the power he used was not enough, he continued to increase his power. It increased 5 times in an instant. He didn't believe Qin Changshen could still withstand it. The boundless sea suppresses. The power of this palm instantly increased to 5 times, but the 5 elements formation was not affected at all. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 411. Qin Changshen's great 5 elements technique actually withstood this palm that was increased to 5 times the power. The power of law in Nangong's body continued to be consumed. Qin Changshen treated Nangong's with ease and continued to consume strength to quickly consume Nangong's power and convert it into his own power of the 5 elements. The power of Nangong's palm was definitely comparable to that of a 9th grade martial emperor, but it was really difficult to suppress Qin Changshen. Qin Changshen can only resist at this stage. This battle can be said to be uninspiring. It is just a process of 2 people constantly consuming and competing for spiritual power. Naturally, Qin Changshen would not be like this. Qin Changshen had other skills, especially the great light technique. Qin Changshen held the 5 elements formation in one hand against Nangong Zi's palm, and said softly, "There must be light." Just when everyone was a little puzzled, light fell from the sky. This light did not come from the sun, moon, and stars. It was extremely special. And Qin Changshen seemed to have become the incarnation of light. The light, such a dazzling light, is like Zhou Chanying's way of light. However, this light contains extremely powerful power of rules, even stronger than Zhou Chanying's way of light. Zhou Chanying's way of light is far behind this light. This light contains the power of rules, as if it wants to penetrate everything. What a strong light! Every warrior, many with relatively low strength, closed their eyes unconsciously. But even when they closed their eyes, they could feel that there was a bright light in front of them, and they could feel that they seemed to be illuminated by this power, and they were going to be. It is like melting through holes with power. Only those who are strong enough dare to continue to look at everything in the competition field, but even those who are strong enough are affected by this dazzling light. Either they have reached the divine realm, or they have supernatural powers. Hitomi, otherwise it will really be affected. The Great Light Technique. How terrifying! Nangong Zi is the primary target of the Great Light Technique. Feeling the light coming from all directions, Nangong Zi seems to be penetrated. The power of law it kept pouring out to protect itself, but the previous palm power could not maintain it and was penetrated by the light. Sure enough, the light shone on the entire competition field, and Qin Changshen was like a god, like the incarnation of light, extremely dazzling and could not be looked directly at. The light gradually dissipated, and Nangong Zi consumed a lot of money. In fact, Qin Changshen could gather the light in one place, which was enough to directly destroy Nangong Zi and even penetrate the space. However, Qin Changshen did not do this. Everyone opened their eyes, looking at the scene in front of him. The winner has been decided. Nangongs has recovered himself. He has great confidence in his great origin technique. The great origin itself is indeed extremely powerful, but in terms of offense, it still seems to be weak. Point. However, the Great 5 Elements technique and the Great Light technique performed by Qin Changshen gave Nangongs a taste of defeat in the end. Nangongs knew the gap between the two and had no intention of defaulting on his debt. I lost. Some viewers opened their eyes before they could recover, and they were extremely shocked when they heard Nangongs' words. They originally thought that Nangongs was powerful, and no one among the genius preparations was his opponent. Except for the 9th grade Emperor Wu, except for the true genius, probably no one can withstand Nangongs' palm. However, Nangongs' record was refreshed, and there was a defeat, and the person who lost to it was Qin Changshen, who had recently come to the limelight. I didn't feel wrong at the time. You were indeed a strong opponent, but I didn't expect that I would lose so miserably. Qin Changshen shook his head. I also used my full strength, and you should also have life-threatening fighting skills. If you use it, I will also be seriously injured. Nangongs does have the fighting skills to fight with his life. Nangongs, who has understood the great origin technique, has upgraded his spiritual power to the power of law. If all the power is consumed and bombarded out in an instant, it would be extremely terrifying. However, such a combat skill would seriously damage Nangong's body and even wither his danshan. Nangongs would not use such a combat skill easily unless absolutely necessary. If I use such combat skills, I will truly lose. We are not enemies, just rivals. There is no need to fight to the death. You are right. Qin Changsheng and Nangong Zi started talking, and the surrounding audience finally saw clearly. In addition to being unbelievable, they were even more impressed by Qin Changshen's terrifying talent. Qin Changsheng actually defeated Nangongs without using the sword. This 5 elements avenue and the final way of light are too powerful, right? It is said that Nangong Zi has strength comparable to that of the geniuses, so Qin Changsheng is stronger and should be ranked among the geniuses, right? Qin Changsheng is really strong. I wonder if he will become a real genius in a short time, right? With Qin Changsheng's current strength, it is still very easy to kill the 8th grade demon emperor. Yes, Qin Changsheng can definitely do it with his strength. The Jade Sword Martial God and Suyi Martial God also appeared again. The result of this battle appeared. Qin Changsheng actually won. Tianjiao prepared so many people, but none of them could stop Qin Changsheng. The 6 of them together were no match. The original number 1 and number 2 are no match. Qin Changsheng can be said to be the well-deserved number 1. At least he is the number 1 Tianjiao in Yushan Divine Domain. Qin Changsheng wins. Qin Changsheng won the competition, which means that Qin Changsheng will be the number 1 genius in the Yushan Divine Domain from now on. Many geniuses are under pressure. Zhang Xian was a little frightened when he saw Qin Changsheng's strength. This Qin Changsheng is a bit strong. If the power of his bloodline increases, he will be extremely terrifying. The other geniuses who were watching the battle also agreed. Qin Changsheng's strength was even stronger than what they had felt when he was a 5th grade martial emperor. I'm afraid that when he becomes a genius, only the geniuses of the human emperor divine realm and the sons and goddesses of gods can stabilize Qin Changsheng. Qin Changsheng may be able to embark on an invincible road to compete with the most outstanding geniuses among the ancient alien races. 5 Elements Avenue, this is one of the 3,000 avenues, and it seems to be ranked relatively high. Not much of the inheritance of the 3,000 avenues is left now, and a lot of it is incomplete. It's finally over. Qin Changsheng has gained a lot, more than 20 million merit points, which is a massive resource. In addition to these massive resources, there are also 2 little slave girls, one is Wang Ruoqiu and the other is Zhou Chanying. The Jade Sword Martial God continued, Qin Changsheng, congratulations on completing your first mission. Since your merit points are already enough, you only need to kill an 8th grade demon emperor to complete the mission of the genius and become a true genius. And when you become a true genius, you can practice in Tianweishan and obtain more high-quality resources from Tianweishan. You ascended from the lower world, and there are no forces behind you to provide resources. If you can become a genius, don't wait too long. Qin Changsheng naturally knew what Jade Sword Martial God meant. Thank you Jade Sword Martial God for reminding me. I know what to do after my strength is stable. I will try to complete the task. Qin Changsheng looked at all the audience. Today's challenge ends here. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 412. Qin Changsheng chose to leave. This is more than 20 million merit points. He doesn't have to worry about resources and can take his time. You can redeem more high-quality resources in Tianweishan, and Qin Changsheng will definitely keep some. Little slave girl Chanying, and little slave girl Ruoqiu, I will give you 1 day to go home and say goodbye first, and then come to me to report, and be my little slave girl with peace of mind, and practice with me. Wang Ruok immediately came over to make connections. Master Qin, look, when will you have time to give us some advice on the 5 elements great way? Wait until tomorrow. After you go home and explain the situation, come to me tomorrow and I will show you the 5 elements way. Thank you Mr. Qin. Xiaokyo, let's go home. From tomorrow on, you can stay with Mr. Qin. Wang Ruokyo didn't refuse, and couldn't refuse. With Qin Changshen's current talent and strength, the Wang family would probably have a lot of reasons for Wang Ruokyo to follow Qin Changshen and make friends with Qin Changshen. You'd better take the initiative to come tomorrow, otherwise, don't blame me for coming to the door in person. At that time, not only people may have to be taken away, but cultivation resources may also be taken away. Of course Zhou Chanying had to go home first and tell the story first, and then she could only follow Qin Changshen. The day after the competition, 2 brothers and sisters, Wang Ruok and Wang Ruokyo, came. Wang Ruok himself understood a lot. I feel that I have gained a lot, but considering that I will accept Qin Changshen's advice tomorrow, Wang Ruok naturally cannot waste time. Wang Ruok and Wang Ruokyo arrived outside Qin Changshen's residence. They not only came to ask for advice, but also gave Qin Changshen guidance. A lot of cultivation resources have come. Mr. Qin, this is a little cultivation resource. It is not worth much. It is only a high-end resource with 3 million merit points. It is a little bit of my Wang family's affection. If you go, please take care of it, Mr. Qin. Qin Changshen looked at the things inside. Sure enough, they were all good things and of great value. If it were my slave girl, I would naturally take good care of her. Since you are here, let me give you some pointers. After a while, Zhou Chanying also came. After Zhou Chanying came, he didn't let her enter the Linglong fairyland first. She should live in the residence now. According to the 5 elements, the Green Emperor's Wood Emperor's energy brings vitality, and the Red Emperor's Fire Emperor's energy transforms all fire energy. The White Emperor's Golden Emperor Slash is known for its sharp edge and instant killing speed. The Black Emperor Water Emperor Fist is characterized by its majestic, long-lasting, dense, and tough movements. The Yellow Emperor's Earth Emperor Dao can assimilate all the Earth's vitality. The 5 elements are not just as simple as mutual support and mutual restraint. The 5 elements are also related to many other things, such as direction and the 5 internal organs. Qin Changshen recounted all the contents related to the 5 elements that he could remember. These did make some sense. Wang Ruok and Wang Ruokyo were fascinated after listening to them, as if they had caught a spiritual light. Both of them have actually entered the stage of understanding. Wang Ruokyo has an innate 5-element divine body, while Wang Ruok has an acquired body. After all, it is somewhat incomplete. The acquired 5 elements are still slightly weaker. Wang Ruokyo was better in terms of physique and understanding. He soon entered the stage of understanding and planned to merge the 5 Tao into the great 5 elements technique. Wang Ruok's progress is a little slow, but he has also touched the signs, which is considered to be a lot of progress. The 2 of them can retreat and practice peacefully in the house without worrying about affecting the surrounding area. The 2 of them suddenly realized that more than 10 days had passed and there was still no movement, and more than 10 days later, someone came to see Qin Changshen again. This person also surprised Qin Changshen. Nangongzi, why did you come to me? Mr. Qin was very surprised. Why couldn't it be me? This time I came to Mr. Qin to ask for something. Qin Changshen was even more surprised. He asked himself to do something. This was Nangongzi, the number 1 genius of the Nangong family, who actually came to ask him for help. Don't know what it is. Qin Changshen also brought out some things to entertain Nangongs. To Nangongs, they were not the best, but they were valuable. Nangongs also smiled heartily. I plan to complete the mission and become a true genius. You should be able to kill a demon emperor with your strength. When you come to me, are you planning to let me join forces with you to kill a 9th-grade demon emperor? Nangong smiled even more happily. Qin Changshen knew that Nangongs must be up to no good. Although Qin Changshen thought that his strength was comparable to that of a 9th-grade martial emperor, many 9th-grade martial emperors had not broken through to the martial god realm for many years. Yes, they have accumulated it for many years. After many years of accumulation, the strength of their combat skills, and the various trump cards that are at the bottom of the box, are emerging one after another. Qin Changshen is not completely sure. Yes, I also know that it is very difficult for me to kill a 9th-grade demon emperor alone, but if we join forces, even if we are not completely sure, we are still 70% to 80% sure. Qin Changshen was also hesitant. This matter was indeed very attractive to him. If Wang Ruoqiu's understanding is over and his strength improves, it seems that he can really fight against the 9th-grade demon emperor. However, after Qin Changshen has experienced so much in the demon realm, he also knows one thing clearly, that is, he cannot be reckless and underestimate this eternal realm. The power that the demon clan has shown before must not be the real strength. It is hidden. The power must be stronger. This is very difficult to kill the 9th-grade demon emperor together. Even if the two of us join forces, I think the chance of winning is only about 70%. You know, 9th-grade demon emperors generally don't run around. What we have to face may not only be a 9th-grade demon emperor, but there must be an 8th-grade demon emperor. I know this, but I am prepared. I can isolate a 9th-grade demon emperor, and then we can kill this 9th-grade demon emperor alone. Then we can kill other demon emperors, or we can use the void talisman to escape. Nangong's plan is still feasible. It is difficult to isolate the 9th-grade demon emperor and trap it in a temporary separate space. If it can really be done, the success rate will increase by one big cut. I know, Mr. Qin, you don't believe it? Look, this is a painting. Qin Changshen immediately sensed that it looked like just a painting, but in fact it seemed to call itself a space. This is actually different. This painting does not allow people to enter the painting, but allows people to enter the painting. The world in is mapped out, and the mapped world controls everything. It's a bit interesting, but I'm afraid it's not possible now. I feel that my strength can be improved a little more. Nangongs didn't look very anxious. That's no problem. I wonder how long Mr. Qin are going to be in seclusion. Qin Changshen thought for a while. I gained a lot from this battle, and I feel that I have improved a lot. It can take as little as 3 months, and if it takes more, it may take 4 or 5 months. Nangongs also pondered for a moment. 3 months to half a year is indeed not a long time. No problem, Mr. Qin, I can wait for you. Qin Changshen didn't know why Nangong Zi was so determined to kill a 9th-grade demon emperor, but this was very difficult, and Qin Changshen had no intention of fighting to the death. After sending Nangong Zi away, Qin Changshen was also thinking about what to do next. Plan. I heard that after becoming a genius, you will get a lot of good things. You can activate the power of human blood, and you can also exchange good things from Tianhui Tian. Qin Changshen had an idea. After Wang Ruoqiu's enlightenment is over, he will find a time to kill an 8th-grade demon emperor. After becoming a genius and gaining resources to improve himself, he and Nangong Zi will hunt down the 9th-grade demon emperor. This is a good plan. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 413. Qin Changshen felt that his plan was quite good. After all, Qin Changshen was not as persistent as Nangong Zi. He had to hunt down a 9th-grade demon emperor to become the martial emperor. After sending Nangongs away, Qin Changsheng continued to retreat, waiting for Wang Ruoqiu to comprehend the great five elements, and he also wanted to guide more saints in the exquisite fairy world. The gifts obtained from Gu Qingqian, as well as the resources and combat skills exchanged from Yushan Pavilion, can all enhance the strength of these saints. It's still close. Why can't I reach the level of an authentic saint in the way of time, or be promoted to the avenue of eternal time, one of the 3,000 avenues, and understand the great time technique, so that I can accelerate time in the Linglong immortal world? Qin Changsheng still misses the world full of great rules that he entered when he first understood the way of time. Qin Changsheng is very sure that if he can enter such a world again, he will definitely improve and understand a lot. Obviously, it's impossible now. Qin Changsheng can only rely on himself and these saints. The saints' talents and strength are not bad. Now that their talents have improved, their strength has also improved. Moreover, Qin Changsheng is in Yushan Ge found a lot of materials that can awaken the physique, help the saints awaken the physique, and find ways to evolve from the spiritual body to the holy body, and then to the divine body. Currently, the only one who can improve Qin Changsheng is Wang Ruoqiu. But however, Qin Changsheng noticed something strange. This strangeness came from Xiaomi Li. Xiaomi Li was finally about to fully unlock the power of blood. In the past 2 years, Xiaomi Li has grown up a lot and has become like a little girl. He looks like a junior high school student. Xiaomi Li was originally a mutated sky-swallowing spirit body, and his bloodline was sealed. But now, the power of the bloodline seems to be completely released. Qin Changsheng is in the Linglong immortal world, feeling the changes and improvement of the millet grains. Behind the millet grains, phantoms of ancient ferocious beasts appeared, such as tigers, elephants, deers, lions, dragons, phoenixes, unicorns, etc., all of them seemed to surrender. Xiaomi Li's feet were as normal as Xiaomi Li's. Xiaomi Li's face seemed to be in some pain, and the extremely powerful blood power burst out, making Xiaomi Li's strength also increase rapidly. Originally, Xiaomi Li relied on eating spiritual crystals, spiritual fruits, and divine crystals to improve. Yes, the speed increases faster than that of ordinary saints, but at this moment, Xiaomi Li's state is like flying on a plane, soaring quickly like a rocket. The powerful devouring power absorbs the liquid in the pool of spiritual liquid. Spiritual power, a steady stream of spiritual stones, and divine crystals provide power to help Xiaomi Li improve his strength. Although Qin Changsheng has the Emperor's eyes, he can't see clearly Xiaomi Li's current situation, but Qin Changsheng has a vague feeling, that is, the origin of millet grains is definitely not simple. The power of this bloodline is really unprecedented. Isn't this too exaggerated? Could it be formed by gathering the blood power of countless ferocious beasts? Qin Changsheng can't see clearly now, so he can only wait for Xiaomi Li to awaken. Xiaomi Li seems to be wrapped in layers of bloodline power, as if forming a cocoon. Xiaomi Li had an explosion of aura and power before, affecting many people. After this crazy absorption of spiritual power, he slowly became calmer, except that he was still absorbing power crazily. Fortunately, Qin Changsheng had exchanged a lot of resources because of this. At the beginning, he exchanged several million. The training resources were placed in the Linglong immortal realm, and the merit points obtained from the subsequent battle with Lin Aobei, which amounted to tens of millions of merit points, were all replaced by Qin Changsheng into training resources. In addition, the training resources brought by Wang Ruoqiu and Wang Ruok, this Linglong immortal realm does have a lot of resources. Isn't millet grains absorbed too quickly? I feel that the spiritual crystals and divine crystals are not enough. Could it be that we need to exchange resources again? Qin Changsheng felt that there were so many cultivation resources, which were enough for these saints to practice. But he soon discovered that it seemed that it was not enough. The millet grains suddenly rose up, and they absorbed 1/20 of them in one day. Resources, or high-end resources. It seems that I still have to exchange for training resources. Qin Changsheng estimates that the millet grains will still require a large amount of resources. The remaining resources will only be fully absorbed in 20 days. In the case of millet grains, Qin Changsheng is not sure how much will be absorbed. In order to ensure that the resources are sufficient, Qin Changsheng must I need to go to Yushan Pavilion to exchange resources. There are tens of millions of merit points, and at worst I will spend them all. Then I will go to the demon realm and go to the foreign god's domain. Then I will have the resources and merit points. Qin Changsheng came to Yushan Pavilion again. Manager Zhang from Yushan Pavilion smiled brightly when he saw Qin Changsheng. He was an old acquaintance. Mr. Qin, are you here again? Is it to exchange for training resources? Qin Changsheng didn't hide it, there is no other way to exchange resources. There are too many little slave girls. They are all my women. We can't lose their cultivation resources. I don't know how many cultivation resources Mr. Qin plans to exchange for. After Qin Changsheng made up his mind, he planned to spend all the merit points. Anyway, as his strength improves, wouldn't it be easy to earn merit points? Exchange them all. All 30 million will be converted into divine crystals. I will choose the rest. 30 million are all converted into divine crystals. This is a lot of money. Merit points are more precious and rarer than divine crystals. Therefore, 10 divine crystals cannot be purchased for 1 merit point. With these 30 million merit points Qin Changsheng, it is estimated that it can be exchanged for 4 to 5 billion divine crystals, or even more. Mr. Qin, it would be a waste to exchange all 30 million into divine crystals, right? You will soon be promoted to become a genius, and you will need many merit points by then. It's okay, merit points are spent just to improve your strength. After improving your strength, it will be easier to kill the demon emperor and fight against the aliens. Then you will get the merit points. Mr. Qin is right. I am narrow-minded. Mr. Qin will definitely become a genius, kill foreigners, and gain more merit points. Go and get ready. After Zhang Guanxi thought for a while, he asked people to prepare the divine crystals. Divine crystals are not a high-end resource and are very common in the eternal world. Qin Changsheng has exchanged so many cultivation resources this time, and Guanxi Zhang also plans to take advantage of them. Make friends with Qin Changsheng and give him more cultivation resources. Qin Changsheng selected some elixirs and some alchemy materials, which are the materials for refining emperor-level elixirs. Qin Changsheng is now an emperor-level 9th level alchemist. He is also close to the emperor level. When he breaks through to the emperor level, Qin Changsheng will be able to refine emperor-level elixirs by himself for use by himself and those around him. Qin Changsheng exchanged a lot and actually got 600 million divine crystals. So many divine crystals have piled up into a mountain. As for why he can get so many, Qin Changsheng also understands that this is to make good friends with himself. Manager Zhang, I have accepted these divine crystals and elixirs. If there are good things in the future, I will definitely put them up for auction at Yushan Pavilion. I will come here to buy resources in the future. Welcome Mr. Qin to come again next time. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 414. After Qin Changsheng returned, he continued to wait. Wang Ruok completed his comprehension in about 25 days. This time, Wang Ruok reached the threshold of the Great Five Elements technique. The Great Five Elements technique has reached the level of a first-level humane saint. In comparison, Wang Ruokyo took longer to comprehend it, and he should have more insights. Wang Ruokyo has been in retreat for nearly 40 days, and his enlightenment has finally come to an end. Wang Ruokyo has already reached the realm of the second-level humane saint, which has allowed Qin Changsheng's Great Five Elements technique to reach the fifth-level realm, and his strength has once again been greatly improved. The Great Five Elements technique is worthy of being called the 3000 Avenues. Every time you advance to a small level, you feel that your strength can be greatly improved. Wang Ruoqiu's promotion was over, and there was faint movement on Xiaomi Li's side. It ended absorbing power and fell into a deep sleep, without any movement at all. However, Qin Changshen can be sure that after the millet grain is upgraded, it will definitely be a huge improvement and a huge transformation. After Wang Ruoqiu realized the 5 elements, his strength improved a lot. Now Wang Ruoqiu's strength should be among the top. By the time he completes his mission, he can become a real genius. Wang Ruoqiu is still at the Heavenly Firestone Monument, comprehending the way of fire. While he understands the way of fire, he also understands the Great Five Elements technique. As for Zhou Chanying, Qin Changshen is also helping Zhou Chanying understand the Great Ray technique. However, Qin Changshen does not have as much knowledge in the Great Ray technique as before, so he can only use the Great Ray technique to let Zhou Chanying understand it. These top saints are the ones who have the greatest influence on Qin Changshen's improvement in strength. It is true that the millet grain has not completed its transformation, but Qin Changshen can no longer wait, and there is no need to wait any longer. It is better to go directly to the demon realm first, to kill an 8th grade demon emperor, and to become a true genius is the key. Qin Changshen set off quietly, and no one noticed Qin Changshen at all. Nangongs was still waiting patiently for Qin Changshen. It had only been more than a month, and it was still early than the 3 to 5 months that Qin Changshen said. Qin Changshen arrived at the Yushan Divine Realm through the teleportation array. Next, Qin Changshen was not going to the Imperial Heaven Demon Realm, but planned to go to another demon realm. Yushan Divine Realm now has one divine realm confronting 2 demonic realms, and the Dishan demonic realm has completely fallen into the demonic realm. But this other demon realm, the evil demon realm, is mainly composed of demons. In addition to the demons, there are also evil races and monsters. Although this is not a chaotic place, it is indeed relatively chaotic, mainly dominated by these 3 tribes. Because the joint management of the 3 tribes will indeed be more chaotic and complicated, and there are also demon gods, evil gods, and demon gods. They will not care so much. If something goes wrong, they may take action personally. I chose this place because it was relatively chaotic, and Qin Changshen could act a little arbitrarily. However, you have to be more careful, because there may be powerful people in the divine realm. Qin Changshen left the Yushan divine realm and flew quietly to the demonic realm. The aura of this demonic realm was very different from that of the human divine realm. The aura here was extremely chaotic, extremely evil, and the aura of evil demons. It was a long journey, and Qin Changshen also killed many monsters, evil spirits, and demons along the way, but most of them were from the Martial Emperor realm, and the number of those from the Martial Emperor realm was still relatively small. With so many Martial Emperors providing information to Qin Changshen had a preliminary understanding of the evil realm. The demon realm is worthy of being the demon realm. The evil clan and the demon clan are both rival races to the human race. The demon clan that appears here is also a kind of very ferocious demon clan that is very hostile to the human race. There is actually a powerful destructive demon clan here, and there are actually strong warriors in the martial god realm. It is really dangerous. The evil tribe is indeed very strange and elusive. As for the monster clan, the main ones are ferocious beasts, and there are even ancient ferocious beasts. However, these are all in the Martial Emperor realm after all, and the understanding here is still relatively one-sided and relatively small. If Qin Changshen wants to know more, he must pass through the powerful enemies of the Martial Emperor realm to learn more. This is currently being communicated. However, Qin Changshen made a new discovery. A group of Martial Emperors flew from another direction, heading towards the demon realm. The distance was far away, but Qin Changshen had already felt that the strength of these Martial Emperors was not weak. Although the strongest one is actually the 9th grade martial emperor, the remaining 4 are also 8th grade martial emperors, and each of them is extremely fierce, not much worse than the 9th grade martial emperor. Are they demon clan, or are they 4 8th grade demon emperors, and one is called a 9th grade demon emperor? This looks unusual. Qin Changsheng felt the aura from a distance, and also learned from his memory that most areas of the monster clan are still relatively far away from here, so Qin Changsheng planned to take action here. These 5 demon emperors should be from the demon court. A blood-devouring dragon broke away from the demon clan and established his own clan. He chose to establish the demon court here. The demon court is considered this area. It is a sacred place for the demon clan and occupies 1/6 of the entire demon domain. However, the 2 demon clans still respect the blood-devouring dragon very much. There must be some small friction, but no matter how you do it, under normal circumstances, it will not affect the strong ones in the martial god realm. Because once a war breaks out between these martial gods, then this territory will probably be occupied by the human race or other alien races. Qin Changsheng felt this after 5 demon emperors, he planned to take action. The demon clan is similar to the human clan, and the resources they use are basically the same. These 5 demon emperors should have a lot of cultivation resources. Qin Changsheng originally did not plan to fight with the 9th grade demon emperor. After all, it was the 9th level demon emperor who took action. However, both the emperor's eyes and the system gave information that this 9th level demon emperor had just entered the state of the 9th level demon emperor. He is still suffering from hidden injuries, although he can move normally. But once the battle get up, especially the longer it is delayed, the impact of this injury will become more and more obvious. A demon emperor who entered the 9th level for the first time and was injured. Qin Changsheng didn't know why these 5 people stayed together. They must have done something big. Qin Changsheng decided to take action. As the saying goes, if the opportunity is too late, it will never come again. At this time, you can kill the monster. It is the best time for the emperor to kill them to harvest their resources and gain the qualification to become the genius of the human race. In addition, there may be unexpected gains. This 9th grade martial emperor was relatively seriously injured, while the other 8th grade martial emperors were slightly better. But it does have some influence. Qin Changsheng made up his mind and made preparations. This should be done sooner rather than later. We are still some distance away from the evil realm. The territory of the evil tribe is nearby, but there should be no evil tribes nearby. Qin Changsheng quickly took action and directly erupted with powerful aura and power. At this moment, the 5 demon emperors instantly felt that there was a powerful aura not far away. This seemed to be a human race. There are actually humans flying towards us. It looks like they are coming for us, so be ready for battle. It's not the god of war, this human race is really looking for death. The demon emperors are all ready, waiting for Qin Changsheng's arrival.